Hello, my name is Susan Johnson, and this comes to you from my garden in London, which is in southwest London, and we might hear the odd plane going over, and there's a park behind us, so there may be a ball shooting over my head, and the odd crow. This comes to you care of my neighbour Francesco, who has studied film, and who is going to upload this onto YouTube. So we've got an old author doing newfangled technology, and the idea was I was going to talk to you a bit about my new book, which is called Life in 7 Mistakes, and this is the Random House Australia version. The imprint is Heinemann Australia. It will be available, I hope, in other territories soon, but you can also get it on Amazon. I thought I would talk today a bit about the genesis of this book. It's some 2 or 3 years from conception to publication, but basically the idea of it came about because a couple of years ago I seemed to be surrounded by friends or friends of friends who were having enormous sagas with their parents. And one might have thought that, you've got a group of people who are baby boomers who are hitting their 50s largely, or late 40s, and that all this stuff with parents would have been sorted out some time ago. But I can honestly say that I've never seen so many sort of beating hearts and racing pulses over the whole issue of parents, and it seemed to me that far from being resolved, these things often were reborn again because of the very problem of baby boomers and their parents reaching certain ages, and so the whole issue of how one cares for aging parents was coming up, and so again it was raising a whole lot of issues of what that relationship between child and parent actually was, and what is at the heart of it, what is the moral duty of a child towards his or her parents. So that was the background of it, and I obviously it was quite difficult to think of ways to dramatise that situation, so it took me quite a while to nut out a kind of structure for the book, and in fact what I came up with was a structure of a family being together over Christmas, and as we know, Christmas is a wonderful time for family drama, and in fact I know personally people who've fled the room crying, saying they're never going to speak to their parents again. Fisticuffs, one case of fisticuffs. I had some friends who actually resorted to fisticuffs. There's drunken behaviour. Christmas is a wonderful time of year for this sort of stuff, so I thought I would set it during that period, and it gives you great comic potential as well. So the action for the book is set over a series of days, and that unfolds over certain just very quick time, so it's very much a page turner, but it's also set against the backdrop of how this family evolved and how it came to be the family that it is. I was kind of interested in making this much more of a page turner than my other book. Some of my books have been much more like that, and others haven't. But I sort of set myself a challenge to do a bit more of that in this book. So in many ways, this is my possibly most commercial or most popular fiction of books that I've done before. It's always hard to describe what a book is about. So I'll just read to you a bit of the blurb from the back. "You're pathetic," her brother said. "Still bleating about what Mummy and Daddy did to you when you're almost old enough to retire. Are you still going to be blaming your parents when you're 70? Life's too short, Liz." 40-something Elizabeth Barton has finally achieved her life's dream, an exhibition of her ceramic works in New York at one of the world's most prestigious galleries. Yet her journey there will take her through half a century of her family history, and her own dilemmas and perils, not least surviving Christmas with her family on the Gold Coast. Why is it impossible to act our age in front of our parents? And how do we begin to care for aging parents we've spent our life trying to avoid? So if you want to read more, this is the book, Life in 7 Mistakes, and it's available on Amazon UK now. Thank you.